Hello, this is Mystic Maud here to talk to you about the Cancer new moon happening July 17th, 2023 at 11:32 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you are not in Pacific Standard Time, please adjust for your time given your location on planet Earth. There is so much to talk to you about. I'm not even sure what I'll be able to get to. I'm going to try and make it brief because this is literally the third time that I'm recording this. I keep forgetting to save, or I got kicked off one of the times. I was like, what is happening to me? So that also, how we're going to do this is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this Cancer new moon, what the themes, archetype symbolism are. Then we will get into the astrology. I will pick tarot cards for each of the signs, little message for you about what's coming through for you this new moon. And then at the end, I have prepared some reflection questions. I host a new moon workshop every month, and these are the questions I'm going to be offering my participants. Actually, I'll probably add more for my participants, but they're just such a good opportunity to reflect on what's been coming up for you, to help get clear on like what this new moon's asking of you to initiate this lunar cycle, what's trying to be processed and transformed in your own life this month. That being said, I also offer new moon readings. So if you'd like to dive into your own chart, see what's being activated, what energy is really coming through strongly for you in what areas of your life, and then pick cards to identify more clearly what's emerging, what needs to be released, what needs to be embraced, what you need to focus on, what is your higher self asking for you, what gets in the way of that, and what helps you. And then some advice cards. Feel free to hit me up. I'll put the links in my description. Or you can visit me at www.mysticmaud, that's MAUDE.com, or on Instagram at mystic_maud. Okay, let's do this. So Cancer season is all about our emotional foundation, our core wounds, shadows, instincts, insecurities, our childhood programming, our relationship with our mother and our inner child, our intuitive nature, our instinctive nature, how we react when we feel threatened, how we nurture ourselves, how we nurture others, how we receive nurturing. It rules the fourth house, or the midnight of our chart. It represents the most hidden and hard to access parts of ourselves. So when the sun in Cancer, when the sun is in Cancer, actually, it is the brightest time of the year. It's where our deepest wounds and insecurities are brought to the surface to be seen and spoken and healed. In tarot, it is the moon card, and in the Rider-Waite deck, at least, it's like a little lobster peeking its head out of this body of water, which we will assume is the ocean, because ocean represents the subconscious. So it's really just it's like the bottom feeder. The lobster is the creature that lives at the bottom of the sea that's like literally feeding on the shit that's like all the creatures are pooping above it. It's like feeding on that shit. So it like really represents like the poopiest parts of ourselves, like our shame, our deepest fears, our anxieties, our insecurities. And that the fact that it's coming up out of the out of the water shows that it's like all that stuff is popping out to be seen, to be processed, to be healed. So it's a sign associated with the mother. So you may be feeling emotions associated with the original wound of separation that we all feel at the moment of birth. If you think about it, the root of almost all pain is feeling separate, not feeling belonging to something. And that really comes from that moment of birth where we are all comfy and our needs are taken care of, we're fed and we're warm and we're held in the womb. And then we're born into this world of duality and inequality, and it's harsh. And that is our very first trauma. Rejection, abandonment, loneliness, unworthiness, feeling unsupported and unwelcome are all manifestations of this same wound of separateness, and underlie many of our triggers and anxieties like jealousy, comparison, competition, avoidance, grief, rage, etc. So at this time, we really need to be thinking about composting all of this stuff. So I always tell my friends, or I have been recently, I had this idea about like what it means to compost. So we take our food scraps and we either, well, here in Grass Valley, just pretend you live in the countryside and you compost. So you can either take your food scraps and you can put them out back in the compost pile where it gets light and it gets air and the microbes come in and break it down. And then you could take it and put it in your garden and it becomes food for the roots of your future nourishment, things you're going to eat. You know, it nurtures you. Or you can take those same food scraps and put them in a 5-gallon bucket, put a plastic lid on it, and let it fester and rot and stink and become anaerobic toxic sludge. And it's in a bucket and you can't do anything with it. So all these buckets filled with your shit just stack up around your house and take up all this space, and they're not help. They're just holding you back and holding you down and cluttering up your life. So unless you take those buckets outside, as soon as you do, you can like take the lid off and like hold your nose and then dump it out onto the earth, and immediately the sun is shining on it, starts to break it down. The microbes come in and start to eat it and turn it into something useful. So all you have to do is take a good look at what's inside your own buckets of shit that you've been carrying around with you your whole life since you were born. So like Mars is in Virgo right now, so it's really helping it to come in and process, because that is what Virgo does. Virgo is the analyzer. It's like, yes, this, not that. No, it's always trying to perfect and purify and make things better. That's why Virgo is such a nitpicky sign, because it wants everyone to be their best, you know? And so this Mars, the planet of action and desire, is really motivating us to like take a deep look at ourselves and our emotions and what's coming forward, and to sift through it and be like, I'm done with that, or like, I don't need this anymore, or you know what, that was a good lesson. I'm going to remember that, but also forgive myself, you know? So we really need to give those parts of ourselves light, be seen, and air, be spoken. So hopefully your friends are down to listen to you, or your lover, or, you know, whatever. It's be bold, be brave, be vulnerable, be real, be honest about what's coming up for you, and have the strength and vulnerability to share those vulnerabilities with others, because that is how composting works. Last night, my parents are tired of hearing me and my problems. So I actually made a video last night of myself and like this really vulnerable moment, and then I just watched it and I felt a lot better about it. So if you don't have someone to do that with, although that act of confession is supposed to be with another person, because that's how it's witnessed, you know, is by someone else. That's how we relieve ourselves of that burden. But anyways, during this time, we may also encounter destabilization in our home life. We may feel called to declutter, reorganize, or even move. Cancer rules our roots and our home life, so it would make sense that things are coming up around these areas of our lives. And again, Mars is in Virgo, so we really are like being called to, you know, spring clean, summer clean, clean out, purify ourselves a bit. So the Cancer new moon is an opportunity to honestly assess the cracks in your own physical and emotional foundation, to initiate healing in those areas of your life. So that would be at 25 degrees of Cancer. Look at your birth chart. Where is that occurring? That is the area of your life that the healing is being initiated. This is also really important because opposite that, right now at 29 degrees of Capricorn, is Pluto, the planet of power, the planet of that which is hidden, our subconscious desires. It's the great remover, they're great transformer. And these two planets in opposition are forming a square to the moon's nodes at literally 0 degrees, 0 minutes of Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus is the north node, Scorpio is the south node. The nodes represent where we are heading in this life, how we are evolving, which is the north node, and where we are evolving from, which is the south node. So we spend the first part of our lives doing our south node stuff, which is like our remnants from the past, that we're trying, it's like our path of least resistance, and it's kind of toxic and we want to leave it behind and go in the complete opposite direction. And so we've been in these nodes for the last 18 months, and literally hours after the peak of the new moon, they're going to shift into Aries and Libra. So Aries North Node, Libra South Node. So this is huge because we've been spending this last year and a half or so, 18 months, like learning about our own power, where we feel powerless, our relationship to power, how we abuse power, especially in relationships, how we run away from people, how we avoid intimacy, how we cling to intimacy even when it's to our detriment. And now we're moving into the signs, like we're moving away from people pleasing and being more in our power. We are learning to be solidly in our power, but not to impose our power on other people. It's being autonomous and powerful and sitting in your seat of power, knowing exactly who you are. Aries is very much about boundaries. Boundaries is a huge theme of this new moon. Boundaries and values. Learning to value yourself enough to walk away from relationships that don't value you, that aren't what you value in life. So getting clear on your core values. I know for me, it's like discovery, connection to other people, to Mother Nature, to spirit. And it's also being purposeful, having purpose in life and doing things that are meaningful and helpful to others, So get clear on what is valuable to you. What are your core values? But also looking at where you feel unworthy. Because unworthiness comes from separation. Like, what do you have to prove to feel worthy too? If you didn't feel separate, you wouldn't worry about like what your worthiness is. It means you're feeling less than something. And if you were feeling at one with everything, then there'd be nothing to feel less than, if that makes sense. We all have value, and this society that we live in teaches us that the only way that we have value is through the things that we create, like money-wise. It does not value our feelings, us as people, just our right to exist. We all have a place and purpose in the great tapestry of this universe. You have an important role to play, even if you're not doing something like totally world changing. You have a role. Your place in other people's lives is important. Your role, the way that you help reflect to other people, you don't even have to understand what it is. You just need to know that you are valuable, exactly who you are. You don't need to have anything to offer to be valuable. Your life is valuable. If you didn't have any value, then the universe wouldn't have you here. So look at your own feelings of unworthiness and where they come from and why, and do the Cancerian mother thing of offering that part of you love and unconditional love and acceptance. That's what mothers do. Like, no one experiences unconditional love like a mother for her child. In my spiritual community, the roadman always says the very first prayer that was ever made in the world was from a mother for her child, her sick child. Ooh, give me like tingles in my brain. Nothing loves more and unconditionally than a mother. So be that to yourself. Love that parts of yourself that make you cringe, that you really wish you didn't say that, or like, I'm not proud of the things that I did. See those things, speak them to someone who can hold that space for you, and love that part of yourself because it's part of who you are. And you are here meant to go through these experiences to heal from them. So this is a time to permanently release our old traumas and triggers, to alter our unconscious behavior. That is what this Pluto is doing, into these moon's nodes, coming in to be like, no, this needs to be addressed for your own personal evolution. You must do this. Right now, things are becoming very clear about what needs to be transformed or released, repaired or released. Either things are worth pursuing and worth sticking around to repair, or it's just, no, you don't have space in your life for that anymore. And a lot of the relationships that you have, if you're being honest with yourself, will go to the wayside. And as soon as you do release those relationships, whether it be with a person, a job, a home, a whatever, something new will come in to take that place for you, right? Just remember that. Wisdom, true wisdom comes from really knowing what to do next. And strength is having the courage to do it. So really take that in. And also the other thing is what is coming from fear and what is coming from love. Like when you might think of like responding to a text, or when you think about breaking up with someone, how does it make you feel? What is the loving thing to do? And what's the fearful thing to do? Like, are you feeling like, oh my God, no, if I say this, then I'll be alone. They'll want to break up with me. And it's like, well, shoot, if you're being yourself and they want to break up with you, then you're coming from a place of fear. And the loving thing to do would be to be like, you know what, either just say the thing that you need to say, or just be like, you know, this person, I can feel that this person doesn't value me or love me for who I am, or doesn't love me the way I want to be loved. And I deserve to be loved the way that I want to love, and to be loved by people who love me, and to have a job that values me, and to live in a place that I love and feel supported by my community, right? So that's that value part, you know, but it's also boundaries. So anyways, keep thinking, what is coming from love and what is coming from fear? What is the loving choice? What is the fearful choice? You know, even getting mad at people in a certain way comes from fear too. Fear of being dismissed or acknowledged, or fear of being wrong, you know? There's so much like that's to unpack around everything. So pay attention to your emotions right now. What's coming up for you? What's being triggered? Skip to the end and see what questions I have for you to answer. So I think that is it, but just let me take a quick peek at my notes to make sure. Yes. So also thinking about, where does your power come from? Do you feel like your power is coming from outside of you, or do you feel it comes from inside of you? And that is a good way to really see clearly what is trying to come through for you this new moon. Like, if you are afraid of breaking up with someone because of this and that, then your power is external, because you can do things, you know, you deserve to have things how you want them. And we're really all going to be learning this so much in this next 18 months, you know, standing in our power, standing in our boundaries. And I really hope for everyone and for the world's sake that everyone can do the hard thing, which actually, once you do the hard thing and you stand in it, it feels good. You know, you feel stronger whenever you make that choice that is good for you. It makes you a stronger person. Okay, and then the last aspect I wanted to talk about was Uranus sextile the new moon. So Uranus is in Taurus right now. Taurus is like also our like possessions and our homes and our things like that. It's also like those feelings of security and comfort. And Uranus is a planet of change and innovation. And I'm really seeing that as shaking things up, doing things in a new way, innovating in community groups, collaboration, like creating a new world. Uranus, I really associate so strongly with Aquarius for obvious reasons, but like I really get this hit that we are really needing to move into the direction of community and caring for one another. So not just offering some compassion, that unconditional compassion and unconditional love for yourself, but learning to have it with other people, like not forcing your way of doing things onto other people, right? So we all are choosing the relationships. Like, think about like romantic relations in particular. We choose partners based on our subconscious thinking that they will provide us an experience of love. And we have this subconscious idea of what it looks like to experience love. And so oftentimes, like, we just take that person and we try and make them fit our idea of what love is, instead of respecting and loving them for who they are. Real love is appreciating and accepting people for who they are and their gifts and their ways, And doing the opposite of that is not love. That's fear. It's like, no, I'm so afraid to be alone that I'm just going to ignore everything about you that I don't like and try and make you into the thing that I do like, right? That's not setting ourselves up for healthy relationships. And in fact, that is enhancing our deepest wounds and perpetuating our old stories that things don't work out for us, or that people are always like this, or I never get the love that I want. And it's because we're constantly trying to force people to be something that they're not. The world needs to be more forgiving. We need to be more forgiving of other people. We need to be more accepting of other people and other ways of loving. And I'm not saying that we should never compromise, but like if someone is completely not the person for you and doesn't have the same values as you and doesn't like the same things as you, and is just completely different, like you need to accept that and be like, I love you for who you are, and we are not a good we don't make a good team. We're not on the same page enough. We don't want people that are exactly like us, but in very core fundamental ways we do. And then there really has to be love there. And I see so many relationships where things feel forced. Yeah. And we don't want that. We don't want to force ourselves to do anything unless, we've been married for 50 years or, like there's a difference between like areas where we can be better in ourselves and therefore show up as a better teammate, and then also like forcing things to work out that really just shouldn't. So anything else? Okay, so that's that. Let's get into the cards. I will pick a card for each of the zodiac signs, and then we will do the reflection questions. And again, if you'd like your own personal reading, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, what is the first sign again? Oh yeah, Aries. Aries, we have the Hanged Man. Oh, come on. We have the Hanged Man. That's beautiful. So Aries, you can be really forceful and want things your way. There's like can be like a tendency towards narcissism, even like really just thinking about what you want, because you are the very first sign of the zodiac. And you're here to push boundaries and live life on your own terms. Why is this not gonna work? So this is like not, where are you resisting change? How can you see things from a new perspective so that you can surrender and grow and evolve? I'm gonna try harder. Okay, so you can see he's hanging upside down. He's surrendering. He's like, okay, I'm bonded. I can't do anything about this. And because of that, he's reaching enlightenment, seeing things from a new perspective, not forcing your own will, trying things another way, being open, not forcing your will onto things. Okay, Taurus. We have another major arcana card, Judgment. So Judgment is about seeing clearly your past and forgiving yourself. Judgment Day is that day where God raptures you up and you see your whole life like a movie, and you see really clearly the things that you did wrong and things you should have done better. And this is the opportunity to forgive yourself for that. This is also a higher calling, but it's like, look, all these people are being raised from the dead. So it's like resurrecting your old emotional wounds so that you can see them and forgive them and bring them peace. And this is important. This is a major arcana card. It's hot out here. In here. Who's next? Gemini. Gemini, 2 of coins. It's so classic for Gemini to be trying to do too many things at once, and juggling too many things. It's here, it's there, it's that squirrel over there, So when I see this card, it's like, get it, get a handle on your shit, man. You know, like bring some balance into your life. Maybe it's time to drop one of these balls, you know, like maybe you're trying to do too much and your energy is all over the place and it's like affecting you in a negative way. So this is like try and like whatever is coming through, ride those waves and restore some balance and harmony into your life. Gosh, there we go. Okay, Cancer. Let's see your moon, it's your season. Ace of Pentacles. We have a new opportunity on the horizon for you. It is a new day. It's the start of a new cycle for you. This is being ambitious. This is asking for what you want. This is going after what you want. This is finding that safety and security and abundance and flow, dreaming a new dream. And this can only happen once you let go of something else. You have to create space in your life for the universe to come in and make this offering to you, right? If your life is already full, then there's nowhere to add something. You have to exhale your breath in order for the universe to rush in and fill it with new life. Leo. We have the Page of Swords. So Leo, this is about experimenting with new things, new ideas, getting curious. This is like, what's that over there? You know, it's how could I do this differently? It's really being open to experimenting and trying new things, right? Being innovative, open to change, you know, like you actually have Venus about to go retrograde in your own sign. So like there's a lot there about your own values and worthiness and the way that you value yourself. So maybe there's a new way of thinking on the horizon for you. But this is just being open-minded. Really be curious and be open-minded. Everyone could stand to be more curious, right? Okay. After Leo comes Virgo. Right, Virgo. Come on, too many cards. Whoa. We got two cards and they happen to be the reverse 10 of Swords. Come on. Yeah, here we go. The reverse 10 of Swords and the Death card. So it's like, whoa, Virgo, it's time for some major transformation in your life, right? This is like, there is something that you need to let these swords fall out of your back. You've been holding on to something for too long, and it's time to let go of that resentment, of that pain, of that grief, of that resentment. All the swords that are pinning you to the ground, you need to let them fall out of your back. You've been carrying a heavy load. All of us need to release. All of us need to make room. All of us need to let go a bit so that we can have this major soul transformation that the Pluto is coming in and asking of us, right? Thank you for that, Virgo, for everyone. Libra. Ooh, that's too many. Too many. Okay, Libra. We have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is law, society, education. So maybe you're going back to school. Maybe you're finding a guru to follow. Maybe you are seeing a counselor. This is all about someone who has more wisdom than you do, and he's sharing his knowledge of what God is channeling through him with these people. So people come to him because they feel like they don't have this knowledge that he does, right? So either you're being that person or someone is being that person for you, or you should be seeking some spiritual or counseling guidance to help you with whatever you're being challenged right now. Like I said, the South Node is moving through your sign. So your issues of being a people pleaser, that's a big thing for Libra. Libra can overgive. They can give too much. They just want things to be nice and peaceful. And that's why we love them. But it's really not in their own highest good to be giving more than they're receiving, you know, because actually Libra is about balance. It's not just about giving, giving, giving. It's about the scales, bringing things into harmony and balance. So finding the people and relationships in your life that are giving back to you as much as you're giving, and not just taking and taking and taking. So finding that restoration in your own life. Okay, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, we have the Five of Wands here. So this is, whenever I see this card, I really think of change. Things are heating up. This is competition amongst peers, right? But there's a lot of sticks and a lot of energy flying, and things really need to heat up in order for change, real change to happen. Because when things are comfortable and things are easy, then you don't want to, you're not motivated to change them, right? So things need to get a little messy. So you're like, this isn't right. I need to change this. Something needs to shift or move, right? So a little conflict, it can be uncomfortable, but necessary. I just understand that everything is happening in divine timing. And just keep that in your awareness that everything is being divinely ordained by the universe for your best and highest good, as the South Node is moving out of your own sign. This is also, I see all this energy flying all over the place. So this is like reining it in. And maybe you have too many sticks in the air. Maybe you have too many things going on. And it's time to focus your attention on, reprioritize your attention on the things that matter, that are important, that need attention. Maybe I'm paying too much attention to this card because I'm a Scorpio, so we'll just put it down. Change, baby. Sagittarius. Oh, the Fool. Oh, I love this for you, Sagittarius. I just see you wandering off into the world, just going off and expanding yourself and seeing what's out there and finding the truth of the matter. This is the first of the major arcana cards. This is the person like going through all the major arcana. Like, you know, to me, I always think of it as spirit descending into earth to experience what it's like to be a human, and going through all the different things and then coming back up to the world. So this is like a new beginning for you. You're ready to start fresh. You're ready to discard your old lessons, the burdens of your past, to start fresh, clean slate, and to go somewhere new and go off into the world. I love this for you. Capricorn. Page of Wands, very similar energy. This is getting curious. You know, Capricorn is like the old man of the zodiac, and he feels like, or they feel like they know everything, that they're responsible for everything. They don't have time. They have to work. Someone's got to pay the bills and take responsibility. And this is shedding some of that. The Page of Wands is being a beginner. This is being curious. It's going on an adventure. It's expanding your horizons. It's like being in that beginner mindset of like, I don't know, and I'm not responsible for that. I'm just going to be my inner child and go off and have a little fun. Explore how you can create more play in your life, Capricorn. Oh, these cards, same cards keep popping out. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, we have the Three of Hearts. No, just kidding, Swords. So this, actually, when I see this card, I always think of like the original wound. Our first cuts are the deepest. So, you know, it makes sense that this would be coming up. Like, Aquarius is the least emotional sign of the zodiac, and it's like the most disconnected from its own emotions. So really, if you're feeling heartbroken right now, thank goodness, because you never feel like that, right? And it's really just such a good opportunity to show you that you're not a robot, and that you are human, that you do have feelings, and that you do have things that need healing. Aquarius can be a bit aloof, and I love my Aquarius friends, don't get me wrong. I do call them my little robot hearts, because they're just like, why are you crying? Why does that upset you? Like, it's just so clear what you need to do. And it's like, dude, you know? So this is a time to look at your own pain, you know, especially of like feeling like an outcast and a weirdo and like an alien, and no one gets you and no one appreciates you. Like, that's like super Aquarian themes. The feeling of separateness is pretty strong with Aquarius. So please take this opportunity of actually being able to feel feelings to like look at yourself and look at what's in there, look what needs to be healed. Last but not least, we have Pisces. Pisces, 10 of Wands. Tens are endings. Wands are fire energy. This is carrying too many sticks. It's time to unload yourself, as we've been talking about this whole video. It's time to put some of these sticks down. We go through life oftentimes and we're like, feel like we need to carry so much or put up with this or put up with that. And I think Pisces, especially because they're such optimists, they're always like willing to help and they're willing to carry so much. But it's like, what sticks can you put down? What if you just dropped it? Like, what would that lightness feel like for you? Pisces wants to be light. Pisces is the ether. It wants to float away. Just drop some of your anchors. Let it go. Let new life come in for you. Well, I hope that was all helpful, and let's get into, and if you'd like your own personal reading, please reach out to me at mystic_mod on Instagram, or mysticmod.com. You have to do the www part. For some reason, it doesn't work if you just put in mysticmod.com. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not. Anyway, come get a reading from me. We can get clear about what is coming up for you this month, or whatever you want a reading about even. So let's get into the questions for reflection if you would like. I recommend either pausing in between questions so you can write them down and really give them good consideration, or you can just write down the questions. I'll try and read them very slow. Where has the universe been testing you these last couple of weeks? Like, what area of your life have you been feeling especially tested and triggered? Where has the conflict been coming from? Really look within yourself. Where feels questionable, where feels confusing, where feels iffy, what's being triggered. What has been triggering you recently? How are your emotions protecting you? We think about, oftentimes our emotions are a way for us to protect ourselves from getting hurt. Jealousy, territorialness, possessiveness is kind of a way of protecting ourselves against the fear of loss and abandonment. We're like, whoa, that might happen to us, so we better like be on high alert, like that we might be abandoned, you know? And it's just a way of our inner protectors to come out and shield us from like potential, you know? And it's really based on our past history. Like, a lot of us have been mistreated in the past, in our past relationships, you know, like before we knew how to stand up for ourselves and take care of ourselves. So just noticing when we're feeling those sort of anxieties, like how are our emotions trying to protect us, and how can we lovingly ask them to thank them for their service and tell them that we no longer need them, unless you are being cheated on, you know, because this is also important to like tune into your intuition at this moment. I should have mentioned that earlier, but I didn't. Like, the moon is about your intuition. So pay attention to what your intuition is telling you, and don't just, you know, you're feeling crazy in a relationship, like you could be probably for a reason. You know, some of it might just be from you, and some of it Might be from getting gaslit or getting cheated on, or like something's not right. Doesn't mean someone's doing something wrong, but it does. If you're feeling a little off, like that's your intuition telling you that something needs to come back into balance, or something just needs to be released, right? Okay. What are your emotions protecting you from? What parts of yourself need to be seen and spoken, composted? Where can you be more forgiving and compassionate for yourself, with yourself? Where can you be more forgiving and compassionate with others? How has the pain of separateness, i.e. rejection, abandonment, jealousy, exclusiveness, etc., been showing up for you recently? What are your boundaries in relationships? What are your deal breakers? What do you need? What helps you feel safe? Be really honest about those. What are your top 5 core values for your life? All right, that's all I got right now. I hope this is all really helpful. Again, feel free to reach out if you'd like a reading. And I hope this was a really informative video. Please please share it with your friends. That'd be so helpful for me. This is my heart's work and I want to keep doing it. And I just need help with exposure. So if you can help me with that, I'd be so grateful. And I guess just have a wonderful new moon. See you next month.